KXVS, the voice of Stockton, streaming live on Facebook and YouTube at KXVS Radio.
Do you want to relive the golden days of Stockton? Join Nate Knott on Stockton Alive every first and third Monday at 6 p.m. Tune into thevoiceofstockton.org.
KXVS LP Stockton.
This program does not reflect the views of KXVS management or KXVS, the voice of Stockton.
This is KXVS, the voice of Stockton, and it's time for Walk the Talk with your host, Jim T. Chong, the Wokstar.
Welcome, and we are so excited to have you join us here today. We are broadcasting from KXVS, the voice of Stockton, just off the Miracle Mile in Stockton, California. So I will tell you, this is a great month that we just came off of, going through November. I bet you the turkeys are relieved. And again, I like to say that everyone was happy except for the turkeys. Well, they weren't much of anything. They were basically on the plate. Maybe they were happy serving all of us. But welcome. And as we go ahead and go into December, this is a month that we all think about traditionally of as giving and also preparing for the new year in 2018 that's coming up here. I have with us today something that we're going to be talking about, and that is basically the economy, things that are happening in Stockton, California, but also the global implication of things that could happen on a bigger scale as well, and what are the solutions that we can provide and have a lot of fun doing it actually this time around. Well, just off the Miracle Mile, we have the Whiskey Barrel Tavern that is owned by Jerry Wolfe. We have the owner here with us. So Jerry, how are you doing today?
Good. How are you, Jim?
Great. So did you bring us any wonderful things that will make us happier from the tavern?
Oh, you want to do a shot?
Yeah, I'd love to do a shot. Did you bring? Well, not today. Not while during the show. We cannot talk and drive at the same time sometimes. But we also have with us Eileen Kelly, and she is actually a leisure entertainment concierge. She also is a premium bartender with the Golden One Center, and that is the home of the Sacramento Kings, and she also does bartending for the PGA circuit there. So thank you for joining us here today, Eileen.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And I think between the two of these people, plus myself and Governor Don, we pretty much can have some great discussion in terms of things that are happening, how we can end December strong, and how we can go into 2018 just with a great platform to be able to promote the level of success we want to promote, but also by achieving some of the goals that we're setting out to do for the next year. So December is traditionally a wonderful time of reflection. And Governor Don, I know that going through KXVS, just going through putting the station together here, what do you see are the highlights of the community? Because you hear a lot. Again, this is a hub of so many things that have happened here in Stockton, California. What are some of the highlights that you've seen happen in Stockton, California for the radio station as a whole as it starts to get up its tower, but also for the community here over in San Joaquin County?
Well, first of all, I would say that this whole effort really was a leap of faith from mostly students and alumni from the Delta College Radio program and community members who are active in the community. And when I say active, I don't mean just participation, but motivation. And so I think one of the best development is how many people we've been able to reach over the year. Last year, this time, we were really excited about reaching 2,000 people a month, and now we're reaching 100,000 people a month. And,
Wow.
that's a 50 times increase in one calendar year. Now, I don't think we're going to get to 50 times greater than that, but maybe we could double that in the next year and reach 250,000 people or something like that a month. But that really is a great sign, I think, of not only it's a great, sign of success, but more importantly, it is a clue of the need in our community for community content, for things that really are being overlooked in mainstream media and even local media. There's so many things that we discussed that they just get no coverage at all. And from community groups and important actions, activities, and advocacies to local businesses and spotlights on local newsmakers, community leaders, volunteerism, the things that really make our community better. We've been able to be involved in, at least as a liaison, to help get the message out. And really, it's due to the efforts of people who care about this community. We have a great diversity of folks. The thing that ties us together is that we care about this community. We are from all spectrums, all backgrounds, all ages, all ethnicities, all genders, all religions, but we all love Stockton and San Joaquin County. And so to me, that's the greatest result of what we've been able to do, to be able to touch so many people and to be able to bring so many people to the table. And so we're looking forward to doing that even greater next year. We want to bring more people on board. We're reaching out for other contributors and collaborators and other co-conspirators in this effort to make our community better. So yeah, I'm really thrilled, very thrilled, and glad to have you on board and all the other great broadcasters and people who already are making this community better, and we can multiply our efforts and do it together.
And I love the sign here. I'm looking at the sign. It says, join KXVS. Let's make Stockton better. And here's the key: together.
Yeah.
And on Walk the Talk, we want to just bring out issues that are relevant, definitely to the community here in Stockton, California. So as you listen here, these are things which we want you to consider. What are the things that you can get involved in? What are the things that you can do to really make a significant difference in the community? But also, I also mentioned things that happen here in Stockton, California have national implications. In Stockton here, we have seen again, one of the most prolific and things that we know about Stockton is the whole real estate boom. There was a time when Stockton was the place to invest because we're not too far from the Bay Area. People used to drive, get homes, and then the pricing was really reasonable. But as more people came out here from the Bay Area, from San Jose, from San Francisco, just to have a great place to live, they were able to drive, and it was incredible just the amount of money that came into this area. And what goes up sometimes does come down. And as the economy and the .com had its bust, we had a lot of people, unfortunately, starting to vacate the area. Gas prices started to go up. A lot of things started to happen here in Stockton, California. And I will tell you personally that this is what primes Stockton to be some of the best things to think about and consider. Stockton has some great waterways. It has an incredible port of waterways, which was a transport of commerce here in all of California for a while. Also, there's a beautiful town that's under redevelopment, and yet at the same time, there's a lot that can be improved. And so I will tell you, people that have gone through experience are generally the best people to talk to because they're able to tell you from different vantage points. So here in Stockton, I believe the same thing is true. There are so many experiencing the highs and lows, and even this video called Fighting Forbes I watched again from Greg Basso, he put out there about all the great things about Stockton, California here, and we want to go ahead and just do our part to be able to give the facts in terms of what is happening here, what we can do as a community to pull together, but also if you're listening from somewhere else, what role you can play in your local community to be the difference as well. So one thing that helps any location build is just this whole aspect of entertainment, and entertainment, just food and just theater. And by the way, Harvey Jordan put together, I had him as a guest last week, an incredible event, Improv 209. You can look at Improv 209. There is a private group there that you can join. You can request to join, but basically he puts together every Sunday from 7 to 9 p.m. He gives some professional grade training in improv, and I went there twice. I also had Betty Ramirez from Saba Latino that also joined as well, and we just had a great time learning, and it's a great way to learn how to use your voice. It's a great way to learn how to better yourself if you have a message to carry. So I'm all about helping people tell their stories, helping cities tell their stories, and as we go ahead and move forward, we want to go ahead and wish you a very happy December, a very great winter holiday, a very happy Hanukkah, a very Merry Christmas as we go ahead and venture later towards this month. But I have with us Jerry Wolfe, that is the owner of the Whiskey Barrel Tavern right here in Stockton. And so thank you for joining us again, Jerry. And I understand you used to have also another location in Lodi as well. And so you have a very good perspective in terms of what makes Stockton go. So tell us a little bit about the history of Whiskey Barrel as a whole.
Well, the Whiskey Barrel started in Lodi. That was about 8 years ago. That was the Whiskey Barrel Saloon. At the time when I had both places, we named the Stockton one Whiskey Barrel Tavern. But since I sold the Lodi location, I still call it the Tavern, and a lot of people do, but it's actually called Whiskey Barrel Stockton now. If you look it up on Facebook, that's the name of it. So there's just one Whiskey Barrel now.
Well, okay, and I know just working with you, we've been able to have some great events there. Some murder mysteries, and just to let you know, this is Stockton, but real murders did not happen. It was all staged. But the whole thing is that you've seen a lot here. Stockton has a reputation, and. You where do you live anyway? Do you live in Stockton, Lodi? What general area?
I live right in between both. I live out by the Waterloo.
Okay, wow, wonderful. And so, Stockton right now, I think people are on the fence a little bit. I know it's been looked down upon. There's been a lot of things happening. When in the high days, hey, Stockton was a place to be for investment. People are funny that way. Yeah. What is your impression of Stockton as a whole, just being a resident here, living here, seeing a lot of things?
My impression of, especially the Miracle Mile neighborhood, I had a choice to make last year. There was no way I could run both places anymore. There was just not enough people to staff it, quality people. So I was spread very thin. I had to decide to sell one and to keep one. And after spending years here in Stockton and Lodi, I definitely decided Stockton is the up and coming, nicer area, where Lodi I feel like is going the opposite direction. So it was a pretty tough decision at first, and as the years went on, it became easier and easier, and it was a no-brainer to choose Stockton over Lodi.
Now, you also have, just right around here, we have some other great locations for dining and just for entertainment. We have the Ave, which is right next door to us, real close to us. We also have, of course, Mile Wine Company and other places. Well, there's also, Saigon, some place to eat Vietnamese food. Just a lot of things here on the Mile as well. So as you take a look at the Mile, is there a sort of effort for the people that have the restaurants or the entertainment to work together here?
Yes and no. There's certain owners who have really reached out to me to work with me and cooperate and kind of work together. I can't say enough good things about the Werlos and what they do for the whole Miracle Mile.
They're an icon here on the Mile.
They really are, and they, I do a lot of live music, and a few other people do around here, but the Werlos do it, I think, 5 nights a week. So they really do a great job out here, and they bring a lot to the Miracle Mile.
Okay, now I know specifically with your place, the Whiskey Barrel, and I don't know if you still have it, but you have this special, right? This steak special, right? What was that? I remember it was something. I have to go there to try it sometime.
Well, you came in when we first opened up, and the menu's changed a few times. I don't remember what that was exactly, but we do have a certified Angus steak and shrimp every night. When I say every night, that's Wednesday through Saturday night, because Taco Tuesday is on Tuesday nights, obviously. That's all we do on Tuesdays. But the rest of the week, that is available, yep.
Wow. And so your location, what would you describe the ambiance of your location? What sort of people do you tend to attract?
Well, I feel like we are the neighborhood bar. I mean, we get a lot of action during the week, and I feel like at least half of our clientele during the week are people that live, within a mile. I mean, it seems to be the neighborhood hangout, and everybody makes jokes about, oh, this is a place where you come where everybody knows your name, like Cheers. But it really does feel very warm, and everyone that I don't want to say family oriented, because it's not really a place where kids come. I mean, it is a bar restaurant, but I mean, all the people that come in, we do feel like a giant family in there, and it seems to be growing by a percentage every month or so. There's new people that come in, and they end up just becoming part of the Whiskey Barrel family, which means a lot to me.
Yeah. Well, just jumping right into it, we see that Stockton, again, has different things it's improving on. We see there's a lot of different opinions about Stockton. So what do you think needs to happen to be able to start to really continue and maybe even more give it a boost in terms of the image of Stockton? And what can we do as a community to be able to help facilitate that?
Well, I can't really speak for the whole city. My focus is right here on the Miracle Mile, but I see, obviously with the building they got condemned across the street, that was a big blow, but that is gonna be making a comeback. And I know a few people that are going to be moving in there, and I think that's going to be very. Everybody thought, oh, this is going to be great for the Whiskey Barrel because these places closed, but these other places opening up, I'm really looking forward to it. And then I don't know if you know, but Fat City Barbecue is moving in right next to us.
Oh,
as well.
really?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And great owners over there. Don King is a great guy, and I'm really looking forward to having him as a neighbor. He's going to bring a lot to the neighborhood as well.
Yeah. And so from this area versus Lodi, you mentioned you saw that this was more poised for growth. Mm-hmm. So what do you mean by that? What do you see?
Well, I mean, but obviously, let's not try to act like it's non-existent. There is crime and homeless out here, but I see it every day getting a little bit better. The Miracle Mile security is, especially this last year, they really have just kicked it up a notch, and I feel like they're cracking down on all this. Whereas Lodi was just getting worse and worse and worse by leaps and bounds. I was afraid to, I was always afraid of what was going to happen to my building when I wasn't there. And every year I get more and more confident, and I feel more safe about this area.
Wow. So you're telling me that even now this is just from your perspective. Okay. Mm-hmm. We're not saying it is or isn't, but from your perspective, you actually felt like maybe things are getting a little bit safer here, and Lodi was really, if I hear you right.
Yeah, that's 100% true.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Now, I want to go ahead and bring up Eileen Kelly. Again, she is just an incredible person. She's also with me on Rush Hour for Success. That's our show, our money show on Money 105.5 FM in Greater Sacramento on the major network there. You've seen a lot, Eileen. I know you've seen a lot in terms of just what you do, premium bartender with the home of the Sacramento Kings, Golden One Center, as well as for PGA, the golf tours there, and just the people you interface with as well. I wanted to go ahead and ask you, first off, just what is your opinion of Stockton and Lodi, and have you ever visited here?
Yes, I visited both cities. I think they're very important to the Central California region and to California as a whole. Like you mentioned earlier, Stockton has the wonderful ports and access to the Delta. Lodi is a beautiful historic town. Not a lot of people understand the history of Lodi. It's very important in the film history, and there's a place there that Al Capone used to frequent.
Wait, there's a place at Al Capone? Where was that?
It's McGuire's Bar and Grill now. It used to be a little theater.
Okay.
Way back when.
Interesting.
Yeah, very, very interesting little town, Lodi is. But Stockton is also very interesting. Like I said, it's very much a center of commerce when it comes to the ports and the Delta and, the shipping industry, imports and exports. So they both have their value here to California.
We talked a little bit preparing for the show, but not really a whole lot. So you coming from that area, were you here in Stockton very often, or just you just cruised it a little bit?
I've had a couple of friends that live in the Stockton area, so I visited and stayed for, a small amount of time there in Stockton. I'm not too familiar with the area. I've been to a couple of Sharks games, or not Sharks games, excuse me. But I've had a little bit of time in Stockton, not a whole lot of experience. I've just mainly driven through. I think, I don't understand why it's experienced those economic downturns and has the reputation it does.
Now, let me ask you this: what do you personally? You're from Sacramento, not too far away. What is your perception of Stockton, California?
My perception,
just your honest perception.
It's unfortunate, and it's really quite confusing to me because I just don't understand with the proximity that Stockton has to Sacramento and the Bay Area why it experiences the challenges it does. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, let me ask Governor Don. You might have some opinion of this as well, and then I'd like to go ahead and ask Jerry. So why do you think it has, just very briefly, just the perception people have about Stockton?
Well, I think that's real simple. It's somebody else is telling the story about Stockton. People from Stockton aren't. The Stockton community isn't engaged in the story, not through any direct fault of their own, but that's what happened when the Telecom Act changed in 1996, allowed the media markets to be owned by conglomerates. It used to be only one person could own one TV station, radio station, and a newspaper in an area, in a region, and now one person could technically own all of them in the whole country. And we have now 6 companies that control 97% of all media that comes out. So what does that mean? Basically, when you look at our numbers and our miserable index, you'll find that our numbers are very similar to a place like Sacramento. Our crime rate is pretty similar. Our murder rate is pretty similar. Our job.
Now, some people say, "Wait a second,
yes.
Wait a second." That can't be true.
It is true. Look it up yourself. You'll see that yes, there are some differences. There are some anomalies, and we have our set of challenges. But the reason why we have the perception that this place is so miserable is because other people are selling our story as bad news, terrible things in Stockton right after these messages. And then they talk about all the good stuff in their community. But if they were to be honest about it, they'd say, oh, yeah, we have like a 1 or 2 percentage point difference in this crime rate, 1 or 2 percentage difference in this crime rate.
Well, I want to go ahead and ask you, Jerry. You obviously know Lodi and Stockton very well, right? Yes. And how many years have you owned the Whiskey Barrel here in Stockton?
I've been here for 5 years.
And what about in Lodi?
8 years.
Okay, so that makes you qualify, definitely give a good perception. You're living right near the center here.
Yes.
So I know in Lodi, it's interesting talking. I've lived here for several years myself, but talking to different people, it's almost like some people in Lodi are actually afraid to drive into Stockton at times. I mean, it's kind of interesting. Yeah. Even Sacramento, it's like, oh, you live in Stockton before? When I used to, it's like, wow, aren't you? There's kind of like this phobia a little bit, right?
Yeah.
What do you think is feeding that? This is Lodi and Stockton. We should know each other.
Yeah, I felt like I was always defending Lodi to Stockton people and vice versa. The perception of Stockton to Lodi people just they think it's your car's gonna get broken into, you're gonna get mugged, there's gonna be gang riots, just the whole ridiculous concept. And I've never, there is crime in both cities. My car was broken into twice over the years, and both times it was in Lodi. It was never here in Stockton. I walking around on the sidewalks late at night. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wouldn't want my mom to walk around alone on either of these sidewalks, but I definitely feel more safe late at night walking around in Stockton than I do in Lodi. It's just
wait. Could you repeat that?
Did I stutter?
Yeah. I think just so people could hear it clearly. Now, this is Jerry Wolfe, and he's an incredible businessman. He's seen it all in Lodi, Stockton. I talked to you. You're actually a very shrewd and very perceptive person.
Thank you.
And so what did you say about the safety?
Well, I dare anyone to walk around downtown Lodi after the bars close.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's ghost town.
Well, I mean,
we don't hear about that very often.
Okay.
You know.
Well, I wanted to just pull the number up just so we know.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Murder rate in Stockton. Now these are older statistics, but
Sure.
they're not much different now. This was 12.8 versus 12.4 per 100,000 people. That's almost statistically the same number. Sacramento has over 100,000 people more than we do. So but those numbers are about like that. The robbery numbers, they're about that same proportion. Assault, burglary, all that. And so, we're not dragging Sacramento down. We're just keeping it real here. That, if somebody is telling your story, then that's the version that people are going to accept. And and that's what we're trying to do here with the Voice of Stockton, is that interject ourselves, involve ourselves in the conversation, just to balance it out. We're not trying to exclude others either. This is this is an inclusive effort, but just so people know, yes, it's tough here, it's tough there, it's tough. It could be tough anywhere. But what I think makes our community exceptional is the amount of commitment that people have here, and their response to this tough situation, for the most part, at least those that are still around, is not to turn and run, but to face it, address it, and to work hard at it, and try to find solutions. And it takes really, it takes inclusiveness to make that happen.
Now, Jerry, do you want to add on to that? And then I want to bring Eileen into the conversation here for a very specific reason.
Sure.
But any comments you want to add on to what Governor Don just shared?
No, I agree with him. It is the great thing about Stockton, and I think, like he said, there's problems everywhere. You walk around the Miracle Mile during the week, and there's people out. There's great people out doing things every single night out here, and that makes the whole place just feel more safe and more inviting. There's a lot of live music. There's a lot of great restaurants. There's a lot of great bars. This is a little happening little area, and I do feel like this building being shut down over here is kind of a blow, but the more that comes here, the more I guess I could say camaraderie. They say high tides raise all ships, but it's we're getting better and better every year. I truly feel like that.
That's great. Well, it's kind of funny. You made a statement. High tides raise all ships. And what my friend used to tell me, yeah, but Jim, when the water kind of secedes, you want to make sure your ship's not caught on the land, right?
Yeah.
So there is more to that story. But Eileen, this is really interesting. You're coming from a Sacramento perspective. We're going to talk about specifically about entertainment, because I know that there are great things happening in Sacramento as well. But Eileen, what are your thoughts about what you're hearing here? Do you believe that that's true? Do you believe that kind of media plays a role? Because hey, in Sacramento, there's a lot going on, but if we can go ahead and make Stockton kind of kick them to the curb a little bit, then at least the focus won't be on Sacramento as much. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think I think the governor made a great point that when you have a small percentage or a small group of people controlling the media, then they control the perception of what the perception that people have. And I think with the economic tides turning, even for Sacramento, especially in our real estate market doing what it is, housing is becoming an issue for people here in Sacramento. Stockton is a great alternative. There's a lot of nice neighborhoods in Stockton that really get overlooked. They have some beautiful Victorian homes and really nice, historic neighborhoods in Stockton that no one ever really talks about. You have to see them to understand that they're there. I think it is poised for an uptick because of the affordability of housing here in Sacramento. It is forcing people to look at ulterior, alternative living situations. Stockton is a great established area with, a port and potential. So I think definitely Stockton is poised for a period of growth.
It's very interesting. I actually helped facilitate and was on the executive team for one of the Vietnamese chambers that's out there on Stockton Boulevard. Not to be confused, it's not in Stockton. Stockton Boulevard in Sacramento and South Stockton. South Sacramento, and that's Stockton Boulevard out there, and that's designated now as Little Saigon Business District. But I see a lot going on there. You know, safety is definitely a big concern, and so there's a lot happening almost in any city. I don't want to overgeneralize, though. There are some areas that are rougher in any city, you know what I mean? In Palo Alto, Oakland, you know, those sort of places, they have the good places and the bad places. The places that are really places you want to visit, very plush, and then other places you really have to be careful when you go ahead and head into those areas. Stockton's no different. We don't want to definitely say that everything's coming up roses here, right? There are some places that have a lot of thorns and thistles as well. But Eileen, I want to go ahead and mention just what you're doing. I'm so excited because I know I had a chance to talk with you a little bit more about what you're doing, and I'm just honored to be a part of what you're doing here. You are going to be making a difference in the city now. In Sacramento specifically, I want to go ahead and ask, how are you making, what sort of role are you trying to play in terms of making a difference in the area there, in the entertainment scene, and just why are you doing what you're doing? You're forming big city nightlife.
Well, what I'm trying to do is bring together the community of artists, entertainers, vendors, venues, places that offer, you know, they really need each other in order to survive. So a venue needs entertainment needs a place to perform, you know, entertainers need a place to perform. So what the challenge that I've seen is that everybody's fragmented and kind of doing their own individual thing. And what's happening is people who are new to our area or visiting our area are not aware, they don't have a central hub of location of information to find out what there is to do when they're off of work and they're done for the day and they want to just have some fun and let loose. They don't know, okay, you know, they have maybe one or two choices, but they don't understand the variety and the diversity of entertainment that is available in our city. So we are the diversity capital of the world. Our whole region is. We have so many different cultural backgrounds here that offer, you know, some wonderful forms of entertainment. We have all kinds of companies now sprouting up that offer entertainment for families or, you know, young professionals, all kinds of social groups. So what I'm trying to do is just bring them all together so that people who are not familiar with the region can easily find what it is they're looking for.
Great. And I know you have some pretty good connections there, you know, just all types of people, all walks of life, but definitely people that can fund some of those endeavors as well. And so, I'm just so amazed at just some of the connections you have and what we're able to do together. So I know through the radio station over out in Sacramento, you know, Rush Hour for Success, which we are also going to be tacking on Live Strong America with that. Also over here on Walk the Talk. Now, one thing I want to bring this up, Eileen, you promised me you'd help us do something here significant for Stockton as well, right? I have you on the air. You're going to make that commitment, right?
I am committed. I have a couple of people who have done music festivals in Stockton before, and they're excited to, you know, make it happen again. I think the challenges they faced at that time were the same I just highlighted, very fragmented and not a group, a community effort to promote, you know, what there is great about Stockton, California.
Okay, now, you know, just in terms of entertainment itself, and I want Jerry to comment after you too, how do you feel like just what is provided? You know, the entertainment, the food, obviously it can bring more people from the area. How can it improve just the local community as a whole? How can it affect the whole city in your mind?
Well, you know, when you have an economic downturn or a slump, you have, what it does is it creates an opportunity to be creative, and that's what entertainment is. It's a form of someone's creativity. It's an expression of someone's creativity to bring happiness or joy to people outside themselves. So I think what the community can do, or community leaders especially, is to come together and bring the community together as a whole to celebrate their diversity, so that you can appeal to a broader range of people. And I've never been a fan of the segmented cultural events, such as, when the state fair tried to do the cultural nights they had Black History Night, they had Asian History Night, they had, I never was a fan of those, because it just continues the idea of segregation and, lumping people into groups and under labels. So I think that when community leaders can come together and bring everyone and celebrate the diversity and the variety that the region has, I think that's going to make a difference in the perception that Stockton has.
I would agree with you. Of course, I work with a lot of diversity groups. Actually over in Sacramento, I actually was able to help run an event for diversity over at the Sacramento Association of Realtors, SAR. And then over here, I'm dealing a lot with the cultural events here as well. I'll be emceeing, for instance, the Chinese New Year Parade. I believe this is my 5th year here. And I think about what you just shared. Now, there's another side to that, okay? The wok is all about bringing together ingredients, WOK. You pull together food, you mix it in a wok, you apply a little heat, and it blends it into something great, right? So I talk about the Rockstar is all about me. The Wokstar with a W is all about we. So I definitely get your point there. But don't you think the focus, the different cultural events that are separated, highlight and celebrate that specific culture, so therefore there's a time and place for that, and that's where a lot of education and appreciation for that specific culture can take place. So I think there's a time and place for that, but what are your thoughts about that? And I definitely hear you about pulling together cultures and communities, though. Your thoughts, Eileen?
I think, there is a time and place for that. I don't think that it has to be separate time and separate places, though. I think, one big cultural event where you meld them all together and have like a diversity fest, or, a celebration of our cultural and agricultural diversity, because in fact, California, especially the Central Valley, is considered the fruit basket of America. And basically, we provide some of the most diverse cuisine in the country. You have to travel all the way across the United States in order to come across another city that has the cuisine diversity that we do here in our region. We grow most of the world's food, so we should be celebrating those and celebrating them together, because I think it's not exactly what I would call attractive for someone of a culture to go to a strictly, let's say, Asian, okay? And they have the Pacific Rim Festival.
I can relate to the Asians. You know why? Because I'm Asian. But go ahead.
But I'm also of a mixed ethnic background. So, I've grown up with this as my life, to come from two different worlds and two different cultures. And what I'm seeing here in Sacramento, and I'm seeing kind of more and more in California overall, is a melding of two different things and making it something great. Even in music, they have more and more mashups, I guess is a great word. That's a popular term with the millennials now. You have groups that do rock hip hop, and you would never think that those two would come together very well, but they are. And there's some great music out there by original local artists that are making these strides in music, and I think it's wonderful, and I think it can be carried over into our community events as well.
What you bring, with the thoughts you bring about are great things to think about. I think there's a time and place, but you're right, though. Just the whole thing of bringing some things together. So I know in 2018, that's what I'm really striving to do. I'm actually going to be launching Wokstar Nation. It's all about pulling together commerce, communities, communities, commerce, and culture cultures. And so I'm very excited about what you share, because that's why we have the same mind. I know a lot of people would really love to come together. That song, We Are the World, is something that that we remember. They actually did a 25-year version of that, 25 years later, not too long ago. But it's all about bringing together communities. And so I appreciate your thoughts on that. I have a little bit more to say there. But I just want to mention that KXVS, the voice of Stockton, that's why this is so key, because it is what we call a hub, something that is central to pull things together. Now, getting back onto the original topic of what we talked about, entertainment here in Stockton. You specifically live in Stockton, Jerry. You've seen a lot. You have a lot of events happening in your place. You've had the experience of coming from Lodi, another place as well. What do you think needs to happen to be able to improve, just the entertainment scene? And how can we all help in this arena? How can entertainment, what you do, you provide great comfort, food and beverage for people to come together. So how can entertainment and just leisure events help?
You mean, how can we help that grow?
Yeah, how can we help that grow, but how can that also help a community?
Well, it helps the community because it brings the community out. The community that is all here, they come to see these things.
Yes.
For venue owners who do live music, a lot of great places do it. Garlic Brothers, Valley Brew, Werlo's. We all know that the struggle to do that is tough because we get we have to pay the artists. The artists deserve to get paid. The musicians work hard to do this. So it's all about the people showing up and supporting live music that brings, not just live music. I'm talking about the other kind of events we do as well. The more they come out, the more we can do. The less they come out, the less we can do. And we would love to do it every night. It's again, my hat's off to Werlo's for doing it almost every night. I only do it on the weekends, pretty much every once in a while during the week. But it's and again, that's why I chose this neighborhood, because I feel like we are in the hub of live music, as far as at least in Stockton. It's a great neighborhood. So it's one hand washes the other. We keep giving to the people, and they keep showing up, and that's the only way it will grow. And so far it's working well. Great.
And what are some things that you do specifically at your venue that you try to do to bolster, getting people together and also the economy as a whole?
I think I do more rock music than anyone. I think that everybody kind of is doing their own music scene, which is working well for everybody. Not to say that some of the other places don't do rock. I do a lot more hard rock than anybody else, and because that's the kind of music I like. But I know every place that does live music down here does kind of a little bit different thing, and I think everybody's respectful about staying away from other, each other's genres of music. Everybody, there's, you could walk up and down the mile and you're gonna hit 5 different genres of music in one night.
So in your specific location, which is interesting because it has a whole country feel.
Yes.
So do you actually cater towards country music? Not really so much.
No, I don't really bring country bands in anymore. I did in Lodi, and I did it here for a little while. Don't get me wrong, people play country on the jukebox all the time, but the bands we bring in are usually rock, hard rock, and punk rock.
All right, is that by choice, or that's just what you find brings in people?
Hard rock was by choice of me. Punk rock, a great promoter in the area, Ed Bonilla, asked me to start doing punk rock. I was reluctant at first, but now the crowd he brings in is awesome. The bands he brings in are awesome. So I've grown to love punk rock, which I never, I was always into, the hard rock, but punk rock has become something I'm really starting to like a lot now.
Now, right here in the cluster here, we have Werlo's that does music. Mm-hmm. We have the Av that does entertainment mm-hmm. bar. We have the Whiskey Barrel Tavern.
Yep.
We have Ma Wine, which is a whole different venue. They mm-hmm. all supply music. Am I missing anyone else?
There's Valley Brew, Werlo's, and then the other places you mentioned. Yeah.
Okay, so that covers it. Now, is there a concerted effort for all of you to collaboratively work together?
No, there's not.
Oh, that question was coming. Well, you know what? hence, Eileen, I think I found the people we could work with if they're willing to work together, to pull together resources, because they have to do what they do well, And Eileen, just with what you've seen in Sacramento, right?
Yes.
How can just what Jerry had to say about what entertainment does as well. Of course, we talked about music. What have you seen that brings people together? What sort of entertainment, what sorts of venues start bringing people together, like what he was talking about?
Well, one of the fastest growing genres of entertainment here in Sacramento would be the stand-up comedy. I don't know how popular it is out in Stockton. Unfortunately, I'm not that familiar with it in that region, but it is a wonderful addition to the entertainment choices here in Sacramento. It's grown in popularity very quickly. It provides a platform for those who are not musically inclined to highlight their own talent and their own, ability to entertain folks. They have their own following, so the venues benefit greatly from these troops of comedians who, the power of social media has really helped to grow it very quickly. So that is something maybe if Jerry's open to the punk music, like he said, he wasn't really too keen on it at first, but he opened his mind to it, and now it seems to be a positive thing for his business. I would suggest stand-up comedy and getting, I can put some comedies in touch with him, some comedians in touch with him. They pack the room with people, and people enjoy it. It's a great date night. It's a great way to go out and just, have a positive, fun experience. If music is not what you're looking to do that evening.
In terms of the venue here, do you think like stand-up comedy is something funny? I actually had a chance in series. I got out of the area. I actually did 10 minutes of stand-up comedy learning. I met Insane Wayne, that is right here in Stockton, California. I'm going to be interviewing him as well, but he has an incredible story. He was doing some things, really setting himself up for the Apollo and so forth. And unfortunately, he got shot, which put him in a wheelchair. But he's incredibly funny. So comedy is something I think everyone could use a good laugh. I know that Valley Brew, some other places do that on and off. We just talked about improv. Harvey Jordan, we're about ready to do some things. I'm putting together a comedy troupe for a specific reason of helping people develop for that in entertainment. But what do you think about comedy as a whole? Do you do much comedy, Jerry, in your place? And why or why not? It's not right or wrong. It just is. You're the business owner. You kind of know what works for you.
I did stand-up comedy for quite a while. I was doing them with the promoter, Dave Touchstone, and great guy. He does it in Woodbridge, and I think he does it in Manteca. I'm not exactly sure. It just did not catch on out here. I'm not sure why. I think Valley Brew does it once in a while, and I think they're successful with it, from what I was told. But I'm always willing to try anything. Other than hip hop or rap, I'll do just about anything out there. But I'm always open. My door's always open to stuff like that. Yeah.
Now you say you're not hip hop or rap. Mm-hmm. Why is that? Is there a specific reason?
Yeah. There's
okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. Why would that not be a welcome venue? It's just hard to say.
Well,
yeah.
It would seem that sometimes when you're in a town that's more agriculturally based, such as Stockton being from the Central Valley, they just might not have the crowd to support that genre of music. And if he has it just...
Oh, it'll bring crowds. I could triple my business if I went hip hop and rap, but...
Yeah. Really?
Oh, yes.
And there's a certain ambiance that comes with that as well.
Now, you do either an open mic or some event. It's been over there a couple times. Is it The
Vibe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
We did The Vibe, but for a show like The Vibe, and that's the Tiger Kitten Productions. They're a great couple. They do a great job. But that was a show where they wanted to sell tickets, and I was all for it. So we picked the day that we were closed because I can't do a door charge as a restaurant. So I gave them Sundays and let them keep 100% of the tickets, and they were bringing in a very good quality entertainment. The reason they had to move it is because we opened up on Sundays for NFL, and it's like I can't have a door charge for people that want to come in and watch football. So they moved it to another location, and I think they're doing very well with it over where they are now.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's going to be right here on the corner at the Art Lab this Sunday.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I know it was. I mentioned that because I know that it did well. That's what I heard. It did well at the Whiskey Barrel. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I am so excited because there's opportunity here. And, you know, sometimes it's not for neglect or anything. Sometimes somebody just didn't think of it. We get set in our way sometimes, you know. Stockton has to be careful of setting themselves in a way. Hey, some people might put us, you know, good. You know, we are the hero in the up times, down times, not so much the hero. We can't let our mindset stay there. We always have to move forward, be innovative. And that's why I love what we're talking about. And, you know, Jerry, that's why you're one of the first people I thought of here because, you know, I know you're a very, you know, again, you're a very shrewd businessman. I mean that in a very positive way. You know what you want. You know what you want to accomplish. And you're very specific in terms of why you do certain things. Is that a true statement about you?
Very true, yeah.
You know, you're a very black and white kind of guy. It either makes sense or doesn't make sense. And I like the idea of Valley Brew, Werlo's, you know, coming together. You know, I just thought about this, Eileen, as we're going ahead and building out, you know, the venue here in Sacramento. There's no reason why we can't do something here to start tickling what's going on in Stockton as well. Because I know you have some great connections out there as well. And I know Jerry does as well locally. But sometimes an outside look at things could be helpful. Would you be willing, Eileen, to help us build some sort of a connection here for those that might want to work in developing a true entertainment campaign locally here in the Stockton area? Because Stockton has 300,000 people, and there's a lot to work with as well. It's all about coordination. It's not about the talent. The talent is there. The raw materials are there. Some are more refined than others, but pulling it together. Eileen, what do you think of something like that and trying to at least start to spark something here in Stockton with big city nightlife? Would that be a possibility in your mind with your business plan and what you're trying to accomplish?
Oh, it'd be wonderful. I think just because it's a great, you know, the proximity to Sacramento, to the Bay Area, poises Stockton for a lot of potential, and there's so many great artists. I'm sure in Stockton as well. I haven't met that many out of Stockton, but I would love to be part of a campaign to bring attention to the artistic talent that is in the Central Valley, specifically Stockton.
Yeah. And I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Inner City Productions, Michael Newman and Barbara Presley, because I've sponsored that event for years, the Jazz on the Waterfront in the Courtyard, and they do a phenomenal stuff with bringing in really contemporary jazz artists. And you know, I know that you know, entertainment is so key and core to any community. Governor Don.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to mention, just in response to that comment by Eileen, plus this whole show. You know, one of the difficult things for our local musicians and performers, singers, and such is that it's hard for them to get on the air, hard for them to get any radio time. So, you know, we already now we have our license for our station. We're building the tower up, and we'll be transmitting this year, hopefully with a nice solid footprint covering the whole town. But that will make us one of the very few radio stations that will play local music. So we're actually have a call for local music. So Eileen and Jerry and anyone else who's listening, have anyone you know who's doing this local music, this great you know, entertainment for our region. Submit their music to music@thevoiceofstockton.org. Or you can visit our website, kxvs.org, thevoiceofstockton.org/music, and the release form. Everything is there. You could email us the MP3, and we could get started. And we want to be known for that. Like, you know, we would rather people think of us as, oh, that's that station that plays local music. You know,
that's great.
Right. So
we
yeah,
support the local economy, man.
Of course. Yeah.
And you know what? I want to tell you, Jerry. All right. There's a thing, it's a hashtag Crazian. You know what a hashtag Crazian is?
No.
That means crazy Asian. So I actually wrote a rap, right? But it's okay. I may perform it sometime there if we do stand-up comedy there, because it's not called rap. It's a Chinese doing rap, so we call it rap. All right, awesome. So it's a new genre of music that is on the way, pulling together things. And, you know, Betty Ramirez that's here, you know, we do hashtag Latino. You've seen some of the posts. We're going to be doing some shout outs here. And I do this to be able to pull together different communities that normally aren't really interfacing together. You don't see the Latino and the Chinese necessarily melding, right? So that's why we talk about, hey, how about this? Maybe we could start it at the Whiskey Barrel Tavern. I love this. We could have, look at this, at a country western place playing rock music. We could have the, I love this, burrito, the chow mein burrito right there, right? With a little bit of kimchi on the side, right? And so with
Eileen's cultural mix right there.
Yeah, there's a more, so shoot, let's not have Chinese restaurants. Let's get rid of all that. Let's just have a fusion restaurant over starting at the Whiskey Barrel Tavern, and it can be live. And you know, you think it's funny, but that's how the great ideas happen. Jerry, I have not seen you ever really laugh. Oh my gosh, he broke. Oh, he's getting his composure there.
So we're gonna do Chinese rap.
Yeah, Chinese rap, and we call it rap. All right, but you know I could talk to Harvey Jordan. He'd love to do something like that. Some local artists here, Eileen. If we do something right here in Stockton, California, can I get your commitment to help build it out? Because I know we're working on some things in Sacramento, you know, and I'm going to be working with you on the business side of things and the entertainment side. But what about in Stockton, California? Not just a thought. I really want us to put this on the map. And if we need to talk about it, tell me so. But I just want to get it recorded. Are we able to do something here and really create a strategic plan for 2018? You know, within 2018, we don't have to have it done yet, but really have it on the forefront. Would you be willing to do that?
Oh, I'm more than willing. I think once we start putting it in the works, it's going to kind of grow on its own and take off. I love the idea of having a radio station for local music. I'm going to share that link on my pages, and I think, you know, using the power of social media is the way to go. It's really helped here in Sacramento with our local artists. So I'm more than excited to be a part of it.
Awesome. And I'm excited to debut my rap right over at Whiskey Barrel Tavern along with Baruski, right? With my friend Governor Don, the Korean Russian, right there listening, right?
So that sounds more like rap. I think you're in the charap category.
Oh boy.
Charap.
so but you know, just doing, whether we implement it or not, okay, which I think we will. But over here, what do you think of just doing something innovative, a little different, and you know, would you? And this is not putting you on the spot, but I just want to ask you: do you feel like the local entertainment owners, you know, the venues like Werlo stuff, do you think they might? You can't speak for them, but do you think it's worth an endeavor to try to pull that together? Because I could talk with them and do some of the footwork.
You're talking about right now something with Eileen with what she does in Sacramento?
Well, yeah, and basically all we're going to do is serve as a hub to be able to provide some different sort of entertainment. Perhaps even, if need be, you guys run your own places, oversee it. So there's a coordination amongst the people that are working together. 'Cause, you know, that's what we're talking about here. Let's not be silos. Let's create wins all together. All for one and win for all is what I say. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm not exactly sure what Eileen, what you do in Sacramento. It sounds like it would be cool. I would you know, if you wanted to come out to Stockton and meet me in person, and then possibly talk to the other venue owners out here, and if you wanted us all to work together, I mean, I'm all for it.
That'd be great.
It'd be a challenge to get us all together, but I mean, you know. It could be a great thing. It really could, because we're all very close here. When I say close, I'm talking physically and proximate close.
A block or two away.
And I'm talking all very big, successful places.
Well, I want to tell you right here, it happened on Walk the Talk at KXVS, the voice of Stockton, and also with our friend Jerry Wolfe. He is the Wolfe of entertainment and the Wolfe of the tavern, right? And we also have Eileen here as well, Eileen Kelly. So, Eileen, I want to go ahead. Just any final thoughts regarding entertainment? We're going to have you back. We'll continue this discussion here, possibly next week. But any final thoughts about entertainment and basically what you think it can do for an economy?
Well, I think it fosters, like I said before, it fosters creativity within the local community. So I think that is the catalyst for taking, and evolving the mentality and the entertainment scene in an area. So I think Stockton is poised to grow, over the next, in the short term, the future. It's got a lot of positive traits, things going for it. So, excuse me, I haven't had enough coffee yet, so if I'm stumbling on my words, pardon me. But this is exciting, and I think that with the ideas that the governor's putting out there about the local radio station for local artists, and then Jerry and his experience with between both Lodi and Stockton, he can see the contrast in the communities. I think there is quite a bit of potential to do something to really help that growth take off very quickly. So I think if we can just really let the artists and the local community know that they have an outlet to be heard, that it's really going to start kind of an entertainment revolution in the area.
Now, what about you, Jerry? Any final thoughts here?
No, again, I just would like to say that, my door's open to try any of this stuff, and I would love to, the fact that it's not my idea, and it's somebody else's from an outside source, it might actually work with, all the other venue owners. So, I think we should sit down and have a talk. I'd love to, maybe you and Eileen come in for dinner one night and we could have a little meeting.
Absolutely. So dinner on Jerry. Yep. I know, but in all that's serious.
Chinese burritos all around.
Chinese burritos all around. He's already getting into the spirit of things. You got to see this. Well, we have the Wolfe of the Tavern, the founder and owner of Whiskey Barrel Tavern with us, as well as Eileen Kelly. She is a leisure entertainment concierge, and I'm Jim T. Chong, the Wokstar. And I'll tell you, it's all about coming together, the willingness to learn, to really achieve things together. It's not about just me. It's about flipping the M upside down, making it a W. It's about we. And so as we go ahead and grow and thrive together as a community, whether you are in Stockton, California, or nationwide, I want you to think about how we can all collaborate, work together, bringing entertainment and really great information so that we can support the greater good. This is Jim T. Chong, the Wokstar, live at KXVS, the voice of Stockton. And what will you do with your American dream? God bless.
Thanks, Jim.